Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Tiana. I am the Artisan and Programs Manager with Craft Lake City. And thank you so much for being here today for our virtual application assistance day and live Q&A. So before we dive in, we're going to go through a couple of small items of business and then we'll get into it. So number one, please mute your microphone. So please keep your mic muted at all times so that attendees can hear the presentation. What questions do you have? So the virtual event is meant to be interactive, so please do not be shy. We will have a live question and answer session at the end of the presentation. So please unmute yourself and chime in if you do have any questions. Finally, we will have a survey at the end of this presentation with a link to the survey. So we'll send that in the chat. And we just basically will help us improve upon your experience based on the feedback that you give us. And then also for captions, they can be turned on at the bottom of the screen using live transcript. So in case you need that, please feel free to take advantage. So about Craft Lake City, we're going to give you a little bit of insight as to kind of who we are as an organization before diving into the nitty gritty of the applications. So our mission is to educate, promote, and inspire local artisans while elevating the creative community of Utah through science, technology, and art. And we do this in a number of ways, especially through our year-round and seasonal programming, such as our year-round DIY workshops. So we host monthly craft workshops around in venues around the area, such as Alibi, Barn Place, Mill Creek Common, and PBS Utah. So our upcoming workshops are Felt Mushroom Garland Workshop at Alibi, Bold Flavor Vinegar, and Jelly Plate Printmaking. And you can find more and access the link to buy a ticket at craftlakecity.com/workshops. We also have curation projects such as Celebration of the Hand and Local Voices, which is a free public art installation or exhibition that is downtown in these huge 4-foot by 8-foot steel frames on Broadway between 200 West and 200 East. Celebration of the Hand is a curated art exhibition where we partner with local artisans to create some artwork to display downtown. And then Local Voices is an art installation in partnership with local mission-driven organizations where we work to amplify messages that matter. Other programs that we have is our tattoo parlor program, where we partner with local artisans to create like Sharpie tattoos at our local events. So you can find them at our merch booth. Upcoming, we have one this weekend at Festa Italiana. So stop by, get some fun body art with some washable marker and say hi to the Craft Lake City staff. We also have a really exciting new program in our Craft Lake City Business Academy, which is where we learn, where we flex our education muscle as part of our mission. And it's called Take Your Business to the Next Level in partnership with Celtic Bank. This is super exciting. It is a 5-week course that is tailor-made for small business owners, giving them an insight into how to access funding, how to create a business plan, as well as hearing from successful Craft Lake City alumni as well. So it will start Tuesdays from 4 to 5:30 p.m. on October 15th through November 12th at Celtic Bank in downtown Salt Lake City. There are 25 spots available, so make sure to go register today. It is a sliding scale, so you can pay anywhere from $35 to $100 depending on what fits your needs the best. But if that is a barrier to entry, we also have a couple of scholarships which can all be accessed on our website at craftlakecity.com. Finally, some of the biggest ways that we enact our mission is through our larger events, such as the 17th annual Craft Lake City DIY Festival presented by Harmons, which is where we got our namesake. Next year's will be at the Utah State Fair Park, August 8th, 9th, and 10th in 2025. And applications for that will open a little bit later this year, so keep an eye out. And then we also have our annual Letter West. So the 4th annual Craft Lake City Letter West is set to take place in March 14th and 15th, 2025 in Midvale, Utah. And it is a hand lettering conference. So it's a conference for people to come together for everyone who loves hand lettering, from graffiti and wall art to calligraphy and everything in between. And tickets for that will go on sale a little bit later this year, so keep an eye out. And then finally, while you all are here today or listening in the future, the 6th annual Craft Lake City Holiday Market. Applications, of course, are open, and it is set to take place December 6th and 7th, 2024 at the Ogden Union Station. Stunning historic venue. And we look forward to diving in a little bit more today. So just a quick overview on what we'll be talking about today is what even is the holiday market, the dates of the event, how to apply, different participation types, a little bit of a breakdown to the application and the components that are involved there, and the different types of participation options that we have, tips for taking good photos, important dates and deadlines, our inclusion programming at the holiday market. And then we'll do a little bit of a walkthrough through the website as well to help you kind of navigate where to find different resources, as well as the application. And then we'll talk a little bit more about some upcoming application assistance days events that we do have. So to dive right in, we have what is the holiday market? So the holiday market is a way for Craft Lake City to kind of expand on our mission to elevate the whole creative community of Utah by bringing our programming to the Ogden and more northern Utah community. So we see this as a really wonderful opportunity for Utahns to shop locally and support small businesses for the holiday season while coming together and creating this sense of community as well. So it is an event for Utah artisans to display and sell their handcrafted wares, to build relationships with other makers and patrons, and to market their businesses. So when and where's the holiday market? We did touch on it, but here is kind of the layout with the days and the times as well. So like I said, it's at the Ogden Union Station at 2501 Wall Avenue in Ogden, Utah. It will take place on Friday, December 6th, 2024 from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m., as well as Saturday, December 7th, 2024 from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So we're going to talk a little bit about different participation types, from artisans to STEM exhibitors, everything in between, kind of what that means, and to help you identify kind of which category you fall into. So for the artisan, the first one that we have is, of course, the artisan or vintage vendor application. So this applies to local makers who make handmade work. It could be anything from fiber arts to like hand-painted artwork, and sculpture, that kind of thing, that kind of stuff. But it also applies to vintage vendors. So anyone who works to carefully curate their selection of clothing or furniture, or does anything to interact with it to kind of breathe new life into it, with that sustainability feature, does fall into that category. The next one that we have is craft food. So what craft food means is anyone who makes prepackaged food items that are prepared in advance. This does include some sampling as well, although that is a separate permit. But craft food is essentially anything that is not super intended to be like consumed on site. So anything from like jam to hot sauces. We've even had somebody who makes freeze-dried candy, and those kinds of items that make really great gifts that can be held on to for a couple weeks to a couple months at a time. Commercial food, on the other hand, are food items or meals that are cooked on site and meant to be served in high volume. So kind of like corn dogs or hamburgers or anything that is basically like cooked to order, even if it is a little bit prepared in advance, but is intended to be eaten like then or in the next like hour or two. So food trucks and food tents are included in that. And the food truck area that we have is, of course, outside. So the next category that we have are performers. So we do encourage all performers to apply, though preference will be given to acoustic performers that kind of like our busking styles. And one of the reasons why we do that is because the venue restrictions at the Union Station. It is a relatively small venue, and they're really but while there is stages with the surrounding sound, we did find that acoustic performers do a little bit better in that context. One thing I will mention with performers is that we only accept artisans who create their own music. So we don't unfortunately have any cover bands at the moment. So anyone who creates their own music, acoustic, singing, anything like that of that sort, DJs are encouraged to apply. So our final category, which is new to 2024, are STEM exhibitors. So we will be bringing back for the second year in a row the Indie Game Arcade. So STEM exhibitors of all kinds are welcome to apply, although priority will be given to indie game developers specifically, just due to the nature of the arcade. So any local Utah game developers are invited to apply. One note on that is any local makers who do create a product or a piece that does have some similarities to or have some STEM trends in it as well are encouraged to apply as artisans, just due to the nature of the event. So a couple of requirements to participate at the holiday market are we are only accepting applications for 2-day exhibitors just due to how short the event is. We will be only accepting those who are a bit able to commit to both days of the event. Second, you must be a Utah resident. So that's something unique about Craft Lake City is all of our events are catered towards uplifting Utah-based artisans. So if you're located in Maryland or Florida, unfortunately, we cannot accept your application. We cannot jure you in at this time. Is all items must be handmade or designed by anywhere from someone who makes their product from start to finish, like from scratch, or somebody who designs their artwork and then outsources the production of it. So as long as you are the main designer and you're the main producer of it, you are encouraged to apply. How to apply? So navigating the website and the steps. So we're going to now toggle over to our websites. Okay, so if you type in craftlakecity.com in your search bar, this is where you should be led to. Down a bit, make this a little bit wider. You scroll down, right here at the front, we have our applications for the holiday market. So if you just click on the image or learn more and apply now, you'll be taken to our application, our holiday market landing page. So you can find the button to apply here if you're looking at some scholarship opportunities, which we'll get into a little bit more a little bit later. You'll find this page, and then you'll have two options to start your application. So if you have already started an application using this, you can go ahead and log in here. If you did forget your password, you can click on this button or email me at artisancoordinator@craftlakecity.com and we can help you get back in. But one unique thing about our application system is for each event, regardless if you have applied and participated in the past, you'll need to start a new application. So you can go ahead and get started here. And this is where we'll get into what type of category that you fall into, which we kind of went over. So you can click, I'm going to pretend that I'm an artisan exhibitor. I'm an artisan trying to apply to the holiday market. This is where you'll enter your login info. So under email, you'll have your login information. So whatever email that you check the most regularly is really important to make sure you put in this bar because we have a lot of really important communications that we put together to support you in getting to the holiday market. This is also where your acceptance or waitlist email will come in, depending on if you're juried into the lineup this year. So make sure to whichever email address you put in to continue to check regularly. Okay, so we're going to hop back over to the presentation. There we go. Okay, awesome. So a bit of a breakdown to the application itself. So of course, choose the application type to begin, artisan, craft food, commercial food, performer, or STEM exhibitor. Then you will input your contact information or business information, and then you'll put your category of product or service. So if you go into the artisan category, you'll have a couple of different options. I think probably around 15. So it starts with like accessories, or do you make accessories? Do you make artwork? Like 2D artwork? Do you make sculptures or 3D artwork? Do you curate vintage clothing? Those kinds of things. So you go ahead and select your category. If you have applied before, which booth option you would prefer. One thing to note that is new for this year is this is a 5x10 and 5x8 show. So you will have the option to request either a 5x10 or a 5x8. But one thing to note is that that does not guarantee that is what you will, if you were to be accepted into the event, doesn't guarantee that you will be offered that space. So we base that based off what we have in inventory, how many that we have, and how many that request that. That being said, we do our absolute best to honor your requests to the best of our ability, but sometimes we just can't accommodate everyone. One thing additional is electricity is $150 for the event, and that's just based off of scarcity. So we charge a premium for electricity just because we actually can't offer everyone electricity. So we do charge a premium to reflect how scarce that resource is. So that's just something to consider. Finally, the last part of the application will be your demographic information, and that just helps with us for grant reporting reasons, since we are a 501c3 nonprofit arts organization. So it really does help us in reporting back to our grantors and funders. And then the most important part is photos. Photos are very, very, very important to the application. I'm going to repeat that. Photos are super duper important to the application. So the reason why photos, specifically of your product, is so important to the application is that for jurying purposes, which we'll get into a little bit later in more detail, but we essentially partner with third-party unbiased blind jurors based in the Ogden area to score applications. And they don't see your business name, they don't see any of your information. All they see is your photos, the description of the product, as well as the price point. So that's just something to keep in mind when you're putting that, uploading those photos. One fun thing is that we do offer free product photography at our in-person application assistance day that is set for next Monday, September 16th from 6 to 8 p.m. So if you are interested, please visit our website at craftlakecity.com and register at the link by the Holiday Market page. Finally, in order for your application to be considered complete, you will need to submit an application fee payment. It is a small $25 fee. And if that does serve as a barrier to entry, please send a paragraph length statement of need to info@craftlakecity.com because we do have some limited application fee support available, and we want to make sure that that doesn't serve as a barrier to entry as best as we can. So just something to keep in mind. So the next step is booth options and exhibitor fees. So like I had mentioned, we have two main booth options at the Holiday Market. The first one is a 5x10 size space, which is a total of $220 for exhibiting for both days. And that includes a designated floor space of 5 feet deep and then 10 feet wide. So the width of your space as people cross will be 10 feet. Depth-wise between you and the back of your space will be 5 feet. The next one that we have is a 5x8 size space. We have fewer of these than 5x10s as something to note. And that total is $200. And that does include a designated floor space of 5 feet deep from front to back, and then 8 feet wide to set up a small shop for both days of the Holiday Market. Yeah, and as you can see as the note, there are far more 5x10 booths available than there are 5x8 options. Something to keep in mind as you're finishing up your application. So tips to take good photos of your products. So September 16th is our in-person application assistance day at the Weber County Library Pleasanton branch. And we'll have a professional photographer there offering free product photography for you. One fun thing is that you actually don't have to be applying to the Holiday Market in order to take advantage of this service. And we just do this to increase accessibility, to provide a service to the community and to local makers. So if you know anyone, spread the word, and then please register, or honestly, you can pop by as well. No reservation required. Sometimes we'll have like a space open up in the middle of it where someone is scheduled at the beginning, and then maybe we have like a 20-minute or so block, and then we could potentially fit you in there. So a couple of good important things to note when taking your own product photography is having a good lighting source. So natural lighting is great for aesthetic, especially if it's front lit, but lamps also do work. So anything that you can do to kind of set the scene and make sure that your product is really well lit will really help capture the essence of your wonderful creations. So the next thing is to avoid backlighting. So Any lighting that comes from behind an object actually makes the subject more difficult to see. So it kind of washes it out. So making sure that, and I guess to kind of rewind a little bit, what is backlighting? Backlighting is a light source that is coming from behind the product. So if you're looking at the product, it comes from behind it, so it kind of washes it out. So we would recommend, moving the light source to be kind of where you are, like, from where you're looking at the product and taking the photo, because then it'll help kind of illuminate that. Next, shadows. So be aware of shadows falling onto the subject when you're photographing. So in the case of, for example, like a natural lighting source, if you are maybe there is a lamp or something between like the window and where you're like taking the photo. If that when that shadow kind of like creeps up on the product, it does kind of detract from being able to view it. So that's something to be aware of as well. And then consistency. So making sure your shots are stable. So even this mentions having a simple tripod investment can help with minimizing like blurriness and when you're taking the photo, kind of like wiggling around. But also even using like a book or something simple that you can prop your phone up against and maybe doing a time photo or something does wonders as well. So you don't even need to necessarily invest in a tripod, but anything that you can do to minimize the amount of blurriness or like movement between when you kind of stage the product and when you take the photo will definitely do wonders. So the background, this one is really important. Second to lighting, I guess, but make sure to keep your background as simple as possible. So it can be as simple, honestly, as draping like a sheet over a chair or over just something to kind of make the background a solid color, because that will instead. So say you have a like patterned um, background, or like the wallpaper is really busy, it actually will detract from your product, and kind of take away from like the beauty that it is. So by making sure the background is a like one color, it's going to help make sure that your product is the star of the photo. So important dates and deadlines. So the first one is in-person application assistance day, which is next Monday, September 16th, 2024, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And you can register at our website at craftlakecity.com. And it is set to take place at the Weber County Library, Pleasanton branch. The next deadline is holiday markets applications close. They close next Wednesday, September 18th at 11:59 p.m. So if you haven't already, make sure to fill out your application before the deadline. The next one is October 16th. So that is when our lineup is announced, along with our scholarship recipients. So um, that's why it was. So make sure that you keep an eye out on your email if you have already applied, but it will also go live on our website. So we'll be sending out communications via email. We'll also send out an e-blast to the public, and then we'll post the full lineup on our website as well. But all that being said, please email us if you have any other questions. We are here to support you, and we love to hear from you, honestly. So please don't hesitate to reach out. It'll be my pleasure to chat with you if I can. We also have inclusion programming at the holiday market. So, a little bit of an overview before we dive a little bit more into it. We'll have sponsored entrepreneurs, sponsored families, our scholarship and mentor program, and we have our, of course, application assistance and application fee support. So, I would say probably our biggest inclusion program at the holiday market is our scholarship and mentor program. So, what is that? Um, it is essentially again, we're flexing that education muscle of our mission to help uplift emerging artisans. So, this is specifically a program designed for artisans who have not yet participated in any of our events, either the DIY Fest or the holiday market. And it basically provides resources and opportunities to help uplift the emerging artisan and give them a little bit of an easier introduction into markets, kind of giving them the resources they need. So, what it includes is networking opportunities, some business education and training, waived booth fees for the holiday market, and then one-on-one mentorship taking place before, during, and after the holiday market with a successful Craft Lake City alum to kind of show you the ropes. So we have three categories of scholarships. One thing I will say is if you are considering applying for these scholarships, make sure to only apply for one to make sure that you can be considered. So the first category is our Artisan Scholarship, and it is intended for local makers and with an emphasis on emerging artisans who fall below the 50% area median income bracket for their county of residence. The second type that we have is the LGBTQ plus scholarship, which is created for local makers with an emphasis on those who identify as part of the LGBTQ plus community or those whose work promotes LGBTQ plus visibility and acceptance. Finally, we have our Artability Scholarship, which is for local makers with a focus on those with disabilities or those whose work promotes visibility and acceptance of the disabled community. So you can find the application to apply for our scholarships on our website on that holiday market page that I did show you a little bit earlier. So you can navigate to that from craftlakecity.com, and it's on our landing page as well. So and that application is also due on September 18th, 2024 to be considered for the program in accompaniment with a general application to the holiday market too. So both applications, pick the one for scholarships that you feel resonates with you the most, apply for that one, but then also apply for the general holiday market application as well. So a little bit into the program, essentially the scholar, the awarded scholar is paired with a local artisan mentor who has a history in participating in Craft Lake City events, and they essentially give you vital insight and wisdom to help you prepare for the holiday market. We'll give you business training, like a business like training workshop essentially, and which will go over different entrepreneurial topics such as promotion and marketing, sales, lead generation, booth display, and financial literacy coaching. So holiday market application support. Of course, we have our virtual Q&A today, and then our in-person application assistance day next Monday, September 16th from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Weber County Library Pleasanton branch. And with that, we'll be offering free product photography for either commercial or personal use. And it is free for all local makers, not just those applying to the holiday market. And then finally, we have limited application fee support. So again, if that $25 application fee does provide a barrier to entry into the holiday market, we encourage you to reach out to us via info@craftlakecity.com with a paragraph length statement of need, and we may be able to provide some support there. And you can go to our application support page to register for our in-person application assistance day or find more information about our application fee support. For all holiday market inclusion programming, please feel free to contact us at info@craftlakecity.com, or you could also email me at artisancoordinator@craftlakecity.com as well. And if you are watching this and you are a representative of a community organization and are interested in making a nomination for participants for our sponsored families or sponsored entrepreneur programs, please contact us at 801-906-8521 or info@craftlakecity.com. All right, the Q&As. The first question we have is, does Craft Lake City charge commission on sales? So that's a really great question. And one unique thing about Craft Lake City and our events is that we enact our mission to uplift local creative businesses by providing a platform for local makers to sell their wares, gain exposure to the community, and by not ever charging commission on sales. So this does allow exhibitors to receive 100% of the profits made by selling their handmade products at the 6th annual Craft Lake City Holiday Market. Another one is, I live in a neighboring state. Can I participate as an exhibitor? So the holiday market is a highlight of Utah's best creatives. So as of now, in our current status, participants must currently reside and operate inside the state of Utah. Great question, though. See. Why is the electricity option so expensive? That is a really good question. So, um, access to electricity at the venue is extremely limited. So, to discourage a high volume of power users, we charge a premium fee for access to electricity during the market because we do really careful planning and testing to ensure that we can meet the needs of those who have paid for electricity. So, one thing to note is that exhibitors who have not disclosed their power needs before the event may be penalized or charged on site for power, just because exceeding the allotment of power might result in outages. So we just want to make sure that everyone who has paid for electricity and has requested that in advance can be taken care of, essentially. One thing I will note is we highly encourage all exhibitors to bring a portable, especially those who haven't paid for electricity, to bring portable chargers and batteries that don't require to be plugged in for any cell phones, iPads, and especially anything that may be used for payment processing. Another question we have is, will I have access to Wi-Fi? We encourage you to bring a hotspot or device or using cellular data to access the internet and to process those digital payments while on site. And it's just because due to the high number of people on site at the market, we aren't able to offer secure or reliable connection for Wi-Fi to exhibitors or attendees at this time. And then the last question we have is, do I have to exhibit both days at the holiday market? Yes. We are only accepting applications for 2-day exhibitors for the 6th annual Craft Lake City Holiday Market. Are there any other questions that I can help answer today? Alrighty. Well, thank you all so much for being here, and I look forward to seeing those applications come through. So please feel free to reach out to us at artisancoordinator@craftlakecity.com if you have any questions, or feel free to give us a call at 801-906-8521. Um, just last thing is thank you again, and thank you to our sponsors. We are supported by the residents of Salt Lake County, ZAP, Salt Lake Arts Council, and all of these other amazing funders, sponsors, and partners listed below. Thanks again, and I hope you have a great day.